Well, there is an official decision date now for the TED. For those who know, that's the Tempe Entertainment District. The time ticking has begun. We're going to talk about that. Get the timeline update on today's episode of Locked On Coyotes.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Robyn Leonio. That's Carl Pavlok right beside me. On today's bonus episode of Locked On Coyotes, we got a great show. This great bonus show because on Thursday, Carl, it was officially announced the City of Tempe will have a voting meeting on November 29th for the Tempe Entertainment District. I mean, a lot of this isn't really big news. It is big news, but we saw some of it is coming up because we knew that public hearings were showing up all throughout November. But now we have an official date.
Yep. And something that was pointed out, Craig Morgan tweeted that Coyotes president and CEO Javier Gutierrez said that it'll be the 29th. His sources said the vote could come even sooner, though. So, 29th is the last date, it seems, which is pretty much the timeline that the Coyotes were hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely right. Because I think they were looking for this fall, right? They're like, okay, we want it to get done by this fall. That fits the timeline.
Yeah.
And meetings have already kind of come into effect, right? There was a meeting earlier this month, with the Coyotes development team, the Bluebird development, at like a hotel in downtown Tempe, right? They're like, okay, to kind of get some public input to kind of see how things are, maybe things that they, anything that goes on that route. But now we know is, I think in a couple weeks, like 2 weeks from now, there's going to be a development commission meeting, or however you want to refer, whatever the official term for it is. But that's the first, right? That's the first meeting in which the public can kind of they can at least hear. I don't think the public might have much of an input on that one, but they can at least hear everything, right? They can at least be in attendance of that meeting. And then there were public city council meetings, at least two, or at least like 1 to 2, 1, 2, 3, potentially on how many it goes, right? In every week following, there's gonna be one. It's ramping up, right? The month of November is gonna be crazy.
Yeah. I do kind of wonder if the group that was trying to send out flyers maybe did it too early. Because it seems like now should be the time where you're marketing your counter campaign if you're opposed to this. But everything seems to be kind of moving along at a good pace. It's great that we're being told one thing and that's what's actually happening. The Coyotes are saying this is our timeline. We want to get done before the start of the new year. We want to do fall, like you said. Is November fall? Late November? Probably not. But we're in Arizona. There's no fall anyways, so it's the less hot season.
Right. Yeah. It's, it's fall in terms of actual calendar year, but because fall doesn't exist here in Arizona.
No, it does not. But it's good timing. I'm sure the Coyotes would rather this be done before the season started, but November is going to be early in the season, and it's going to put a lot of end to a lot of talk about concerns about the future. Because you don't want to have that for a whole year. You don't want to have that sword hanging over you. and Coyotes will hopefully get some stable plans in just over a month.
Absolutely. We're going to get through a couple more information things to talk about as the Arizona Coyotes get ready for an insane month in November as a decision looms of the Tempe Entertainment District, also referred to as the TED. We're going to get to a lot more in just a moment, but first, a quick word from our sponsors.
So betonline.net is your number one source for football and the start of the new basketball season. You can find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including Major League Baseball, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts.
This episode is also brought to you by Simply Safe. The numbers don't lie. In the last decade, over 4 million people have chosen Simply Safe Home Security to protect their home. You don't earn the trust of that many people without doing something right. At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. With 24/7 professional monitoring, Simply Safe's agents call you the moment a threat is real and dispatch police or first responders in an emergency, even if you're not home or can't be reached. Simply Safe blankets your home in protection with advanced sensors for every room and window and door, HD security cameras for inside and outside your home, smarter ways to detect motion that only alerts you when a threat is real, and even hazard sensors that instantly detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. Their monitoring experts use proprietary advanced response technology to visually confirm when a break-in is real so you can get the highest priority police dispatch. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/lockedonnhl. Save 20% off your Simply Safe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplysafe.com/lockedonnhl to learn more. There is no safe like Simply Safe. So now let's move on to getting a little bit more information, Carl. So we know that the 29th is the deadline, right? So um and I think that will be a public meeting at that point, right? If a decision has not been made, but that will be the deadline in which there is a public meeting. Because we want to be able to tell all our listeners, right, when these public meetings are, because we're going to tell you, hey, if you are a supporter of this, go out to these meetings. I'm a firm believer in civil engagement, right? I
Yes,
believe that you should vote when you want when the election season comes up. I believe you should go to city council meetings when decisions like major decisions like something like this are set to be on the table, and when they ask for public opinion, right? So civil engagement is the one is I think a really amazing thing, and take advantage of it.
yes, absolutely. My time actually going to those meetings should have shaken any faith I had in civil engagement, but it really only made it stronger. You do see some of the craziest people in the world at city council meetings, uh, and I'm sure it'll be no different. But you will also see some of the most passionate people ever, and there's going to be people who you like aren't necessarily going to agree with, and you may have just really like hey, that person is passionate about this. They care enough to come out here and talk, even though like most people who go to meetings don't talk. Like you could just go, you could just see what's happening. You don't need to get up and speak. But yeah, we definitely want to make sure that people are aware. I never want to say anything's a firm deadline because something could always be pushed back. Um, but hopefully there are no delays. Hopefully we get a nice, smooth, easy process.
Absolutely. So be sure to pay attention to our Twitter page on when official dates, on when public meetings are under. If you want to be part of that civil engagement, I'm gonna try to be at the meetings. Should my own schedule allow me to, because I only live not too far from Tempe City Council chambers, so I was like, might as well take advantage of that myself. Just letting you know that's something that I personally will be doing as well, because it's a it is a huge decision, right? And it's something to look forward to.
I live in downtown Phoenix ish. I am not going to be going to Tempe during the time when there's meetings. I do not want to deal with that traffic. It is too much.
Plus,
Maybe I'll hop on.
let's also remember, Carl, these meetings are long.
Yes,
Well, sometimes they're not, but if it's going to be anything like the first meeting back in June, uh, There are going to be long. What was it? 8 hours, right?
something like that. Yeah.
It was an 8 hour meeting, or like um the last time, right? And we didn't expect that, right? But the fact that they had, different presentations, and they had the rebuttal from the city of Phoenix and from the airport, and then however many people decided to show their vocal support, really tells you something. And that was just the first meeting, right?
Hmm.
You're gonna have more than one opportunity this next month to do it. And they're gonna be long meetings. Prepare for it. And enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts you wanted to do before we close things off on this episode?
Just be ready. We have just over a month.
Yep, just over a month, because like we said, it is November 29th is that projected decision date. Again, we'll keep you updated on Locked On Coyotes on this podcast and on our Twitter page. So be sure to follow us, subscribe to us, make sure you know all of the latest details. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review to like and comment. And like I said, subscribe if you have not to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/lockedoncoyotes, and on Twitter at LO_coyotes. I am personally at Robyn_Leonio. Carl Pavlok is at Carl Pavlok FFH. Interact with us, ask a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks everyone for listening to this bonus episode of Locked On Coyotes. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy, and don't forget to howl on.